Hey there. Good morning and happy Juneteenth. I wanted to jump on today for a couple reasons. One, to wish you a happy Juneteenth, and two, just to reflect on what this day means to me and how Juneteenth and the idea of liberation has really just sort of shifted for me in this season where I'm on sabbatical and traveling through so many amazing destinations where Black people and our ancestors have made such significant strides to making the US and the. So I think we know as Black Americans that the United States has profited heavily from the contributions of Black Americans. However, I think, at least for me, we're not often as aware of the impact that our ancestors have had all through the Americas for hundreds and hundreds of years, even pre the establishment of the United States. So my recent travels to Central and South America have really caused me to reflect on this. So that's sort of why I'm here today. And first of all, my name's Dr. Crystal. I've been on sabbatical for most of the last 12 months. I've spent a few months during winter holidays in my current home base, which is Atlanta, Georgia. And I also really have attempted to carry you along with me on this channel on sabbatical with Dr. Crystal. So I retired from teaching in Chicago State and Illinois State University. I was there 18 years and did some teaching before that. So basically 20 years of teaching in higher education. And I looked at early retirement as a way to fulfill my dreams of really finding more joy, more ease, more peace, more opportunities to explore, expand my knowledge of the Spanish language, expand my speaking abilities, and also to just really live out my travel dreams. And so this channel is really for people who are interested in that goal or who've done something similar. And I feel like I owe it to myself to continue to share the message that you deserve to be on sabbatical, that you deserve to live your travel dreams, that life is short and we can't all say, well, oh, I'll just wait till I'm older. I'll just wait till this. I'll just wait till the kids are grown. I'll just wait till this is paid off. I'll wait till I lose weight. Just all the things that we have for saying, yeah, I just can't do this now. I need to wait. So that's what On Sabbatical with Dr. Crystal is about. And so I encourage you to like this video, subscribe to the channel if this content seems interesting to you. I'm joining you today from the beautiful Guadalajara, Mexico, and I'm in the Chapultepec community right now in an Airbnb. I love this Airbnb. I guess you could see it's got a beautiful kitchen. It's one of the reasons I chose it. And in front of me is a beautiful view of the neighborhood and the rooftops. I'm on the 6th floor, so I don't have such a great view of the whole city, but definitely of the rooftops in this neighborhood. This building is a tower, but I happen to be on the 6th floor. So so this particular live stream is about really sort of to bring together my thoughts about Juneteenth. So we know Juneteenth is a day of freedom that we really have recently started to celebrate as a nation, if you're a member of the United States. And what we are doing is really honoring our ancestors on the day that they found out that they had been freed from slavery. And I think this idea of Juneteenth as a freedom day and a day of liberation invites us to reflect on the things that we need freedom from, that we need liberation from. I personally have always been someone who worked 2, 3, and at one time 4 jobs as a single mom. And that was often in addition to whatever graduate school or dissertation or master's thesis writing projects that I had going on at the same time. And I share that because I thought that was normal. I think when other people are stressed out and depressed and anxious, that, if they decide not to deal with the mental health issues, what they do instead is not go get another degree. There is a meme, I would say a meme, a short going around. I think I saw it on Instagram, not on YouTube, where it says that when Black women are stressed out and depressed, they go get another degree. And I think there's a lot of truth to that. I think Black women are socialized to think that our validation comes from external accreditation, external credits. And there's nothing wrong with getting higher education. I myself have multiple degrees, some of which I did obtain while I was sort of searching for myself and searching for more meaning and trying to find my way through my career, into my second career. And I don't have any doubts about that, but I think it's also important for us to share that those degrees, the ones that I earned, they were not the reason that I now feel the joy and freedom and liberation that I do. And even in my job search, my steps that I took along my career trek to achieve a tenure track job, to become a program coordinator, to get my program accredited, to do all the things that I did as what we would say are the external accomplishments in higher education. I feel proud of those, but none of those brought me the type of joy, ease, peace, acceptance, self-acceptance that I was searching for. I think it's so easy for us to put our own needs, one, not to reflect on our needs, and two, to put our own needs last. And certainly, if not last, low on the list of responsibilities for the week. So Juneteenth invites us to think about, what does liberation mean for us? How do we define liberation? And what are the steps that we're willing to take to become more free, to become more liberated in whatever that definition is? And what I will say is, for me, about 2 years ago, really 3 years ago now, I remember thinking, if I could just get the hell out of this job, I could travel, and I just need a break. I need the spinning hamster wheel to stop. I need to exit the hamster wheel and do something else for a while. And it wasn't that I didn't love my students. I loved teaching. I thought I was good at teaching. I had so many great relationships with colleagues, but I found myself kind of in this constant cycle of doing, and never really getting the type of energy that I wanted for myself and for the things that I was that were important to me. And especially as my children got older, my children began to travel. I will say that they even encouraged me to start living my travel dreams, which I really appreciated. That as much as I was happy for them to see them pursue the travel goals that they had for themselves, that I still didn't quite see myself as ready for that. So I don't want this to be a long live stream. So I do want to say now that I think it's really important to talk about where I went. Many of you all who have been subscribers to the channel, welcome back. Thank you for subscribing. Please be sure to like the video and leave a comment. But if you're a new subscriber, what you might not know is that I went 7 days after I retired, on July 7th to be exact. I left for a 4-month sabbatical over in Western Europe. I went to the UK, I went to Spain, and also spent about a little under a week in France, which was an unplanned, mini trip, you might say. So coming back from that, I wasn't able to really lean into content creation. I didn't have the time or the skills, basically, to manage the travel, the international house sitting, and the YouTube creation journey. So I came back around Thanksgiving, spent the winter holidays at home with my family, and also began this, being more consistent and more intentional about the type of content that I wanted to protect. So one of the things that I recognized, as much as I'd always wanted to go to Europe, I also really wanted to understand what was the role of Black and Latino populations, and especially from a cultural standpoint. So I went to Panama and I did a day trip to Cologne. I have published already a lot of content about my weeks in Panama. I was there 31 days, and I did a wonderful trip to Cologne where I learned so much from the Black expats in Panama day trip about the people from that region, and how for basically 400 years they had existed and protected their culture And now that information is more accessible for those of us who are travelers. And I would definitely like to shout out Black expats in Panama as a way to get a day trip to Cologne. But today I really want to focus on where I went in Colombia, which is Palenque. And Palenque can be spelled with a QUE at the end or a GE at the end, depending on whether it's the English translation or the Spanish pronunciation. And Palenque is the GE pronunciation because in Spanish, the QUE is not common, it's not utilized. So I'm gonna choose to call it Palenque. So I did a day trip with Black Legacies, and it was a phenomenal experience. I signed up as a solo traveler. I also was joined by a small group of other Black travelers, 3 female travelers that were traveling together to celebrate one of their birthdays. And I had a wonderful experience sharing that experience with them. So we were in a van and we drove to Palenque and went through multiple stops. I also have pictures and video from that Palenque experience that will be a deep dive. If you want to learn specifically more about Palenque, please join me tonight, 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern, with Fly Like Me PhD. Dr. Maya's channel is called Fly Like Me PhD. In my community post, I've already posted the thumbnail for that. So definitely go over there and join us tonight for a live conversation about all the things that we did in all 3 of us have been to Colombia, and all 3 of us have been to Cartagena. So, but I will be talking specifically about that. And I've also shared some of my pictures there. So I wanted to say that Palenque is actually known as San Basilio de Palenque. And it's basically a village that has a lot of historical and cultural significance. It's also one of the UNESCO heritage sites. And it's a place where enslaved Africans called the Maroons or the Cameroons from the 16th and 17th century escaped the brutal transatlantic slave trade. And many of these people have their own language, culture, and one of their leaders, our founders, Benko Bioho, plays a pivotal figure in terms of founding this settlement in a mountain range so that they could escape basically the colonialist desire to constantly re-enslave them. And so the Palenque story is not only very inspiring, but it shows you how people of African descent have been people of resistance, people who have felt a great deal of autonomy and leadership and courage, and have also not been afraid to do the things that matter to them. And they are a model for us of the power of finding our inner compass, our dreams and goals, and then following that inner compass. So I would strongly encourage anyone to consider not only just Colón in Panama, but also Palenque, which is just outside of Cartagena, Colombia. And it's a way of connecting your ancestral roots by being mindful about where you travel and how you travel, and also making sure that you're utilizing the African-American vendors, when I'm saying African-Americans, Afro-Latino vendors as you do this. So these experiences have really helped me feel even more pride than I already did of my African-American ancestors in my own family. And I know that in my own family, we were farmers, we were business people. My great-grandmother was a seamstress. She cooked and sold dinners for people. She started businesses to help her children and other young people in the neighborhood have financial independence. You know, she was a person who believed in real estate. She believed in education, but her oldest daughter, she constantly was pushing her to buy property, land, with the money that they had, because land would always be an asset that would grow. And these were things that she was teaching in the 1940s and 50s and 60s. My great aunt bought her first house in the 1950s. And by the time I would say she retired and I became of age, or to really understand what she was doing, she had 7 row houses in Montgomery, Alabama. And she learned that skill of using extra cash or creating extra streams of income from real estate from her mom, which was my great grandmother, Stella White Judkins. And so Juneteenth is a time for us to reflect not just on your own personal story, but your family stories, to share those stories, and to also go deeper in understanding the role that our ancestors have played in really transforming the entire world globe. The entire world stage has been impacted by the African diaspora and the ways in which people from the diaspora have moved throughout all of the Americas and beyond. So Palenque was a beautiful place. The people were so lovely and warm. We also learned some of the dances and some of the steps and the ways in which they're protecting their language and their culture through music and dance. And I also felt like the traditional foods that we ate while we were there, understanding the way that commerce works and the ways in which they're protecting their own real estate and land. You can't just drive up to Palenque and walk around, which I just love that for them, that they've protected what they know is sacred, their ground. And I want to just really end this live stream by encouraging you once again to think about what are the things that really are going to sort of set your heart on fire, to bring you joy and ease as you think about this next summer coming up. Are there some day trips that you could take, some weekend trips that you could take? I also want to let you know that traveling abroad, especially to Central America and South America and Mexico, is not as expensive as you think. Plane tickets are high and probably are going to continue, but there are great deals. Once you decide that you're going a place, if you start watching those flights, you will recognize the trends of the cost of these flights, and then you will be able to know when you're getting a good deal. I know so many people who are using credit card points to buy travel. I personally do a mix of hotels and Airbnbs. I use a site called Priceline, no plug for them. But they're owned by booking.com, but I also track hotel prices in different places and Airbnb places. And sometimes you can get a deal by booking far in advance, and sometimes the deal is in last minute. So I do a combination of those things. So if that's something you're interested in hearing more about, feel free to tell me in the comments, and perhaps I'll do a future live stream about that. So let me close by saying that this Juneteenth, what I am looking at is my next venture, which will be to the motherland. I believe I'm going to South Africa, might not be South Africa, but I'm in the process of working on a 2026 plan to get to South or Western Africa to stay for a couple of months. And I'm really excited about that. At the moment, it seems sort of like there isn't enough money to be able to go there and do that. But I also know that when I started this journey to do the travel that I did this year, it didn't seem like there was enough money to do everything. But yet here I am. In the 12 months since I retired, I've been to 7 countries. Mexico is number 7. And Mexico is the only place that I've been before. I was in Playa del Carmen and Isla Mujeres in 2023 for the summer. And I am super excited about taking you along on my journey for the future of On Sabbatical with Dr. Crystal. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you in the next video. Reminder, tonight, Fly Like Me PhD live stream on Cartagena, Colombia.